Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Scandal Season 6, Episode 12, as well as Episode 13. Episode 12 is named Mercy, and Episode 13 is named The Box. So let me get started because both of these episodes were pretty good, and again, due to my illness is the reason why I'm combining them both. So I can be ready for you guys this week coming. All right. Episode 12, Mercy starts off. Olivia and Fitz are in bed together, so they're back together again. We actually see that Rowan is actually in a closed room in the White House, and he's eating breakfast. He's got all of these croissants and bagels and scones and everything, a big spread like a breakfast buffet. Next we see Olivia comes down there to greet her father, and then we see Fitz comes down and he kisses Olivia right in front of him, and that pissed him off. So pretty much he's saying that he wants to get out of there and he wants to go to Zanzibar, but he says that, look, at the end of the day, you're still a prisoner, because Rowan did kill President Vargas. So he's saying you're still a prisoner, but I made accommodations because of Olivia. So Rowan is just kind of fed up with the bullshit and he tells them to leave, and literally screams for them to leave. Next we see that Abby is having a flashback of all the hell and bullshit she has done. Her betraying, OPA, her getting hucked, her getting hucked, damn near killed, and her getting Leo beat up, like all of this stuff that she's done is now playing back, and she's in bed with Leo, and she's just real snappy, and Leo's like, I'm sorry, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. She just freaked out on him and was like, look, it's not about you. It's not always about you. Well, bitch, it ain't all about you either, Abby. That was what got your ass in trouble, because you tried to make it all about you. Stupid bitch. Anyway, next we see that Miss Luna Vargas, the widow of President Vargas, she's pretty much on the news, and she's doing her talking points. And one thing she mentioned is that as far as this election, now it's up to Electoral College, to choose who's going to be the next president, and it's likely looking like it might be, pretty much now it's, they pretty much chose Millie, and they were hoping that it was going to be Cyrus because he was the one that worked alongside of Vargas. But then she said that, look, the American people wanted Vargas, and they wanted Vargas' plan. And when the people are marginalized, they do things to take back their power. So that was real keen that she said that, because that actually plays a really good role in what happened in this episode. We have a scene with Huck and Charlie. They have a moment because Charlie is in his feelings because he feels that Quinn is in love with Huck, and Charlie is just beside himself. So Charlie just leaves and he's MIA, and no one can find him until later on. Next, we actually have a scene with Jake and David. He's pretty much out in this wooded area, and turns out David Rosen literally is standing at the site where Elizabeth North is buried, because we remember from the last episode, Samantha, aka Rulin, killed her with that golf stick, beat her ass to death, and Jake pretty much covered it up and he buried her there. But then he let her know that your supposed girlfriend Samantha is the one who did this, and to not let her out your sight. So next we actually see that Ruin is literally taking charge as chief of staff of Millie's presidency, and she pretty much lets her know, like, look, this is our cabinet, there is no I. No I will exist no longer in your vocabulary, and besides, we also have a vacancy to fill. And of course, Millie's beside, like, what vacancy are you talking about? Then we get a scene with Olivia, Huck, and Paez. Paez big-headed ass decides to show up at OPA and decides to talk some shit and lets her know that you need to get rid of Jake, as vice president, get him to resign, and that I will be Millie's vice president. And then he tries to blackmail her with pictures of Jake covering up the murder of Elizabeth North. And Olivia's like, go ahead and put it out there. I mean, hell, if you really want to try to, blackmail us, I mean, hell, put it out there, because at the end of the day, Millie loses her presidency, you lose the White House. So at the end of the day, everybody loses. But then she also lets him know that now that I've seen you, now I know exactly who my enemy is, and I will take pleasure in destroying you. And he walks off. I can't stand fucking Paez, because Paez is such a racist piece of shit. Anyway, next we actually see that Olivia finally tells Jake that he needs to resign, but he'll still be the head of the NSA, and that if you don't resign, they will kill you. And then she also lets him know that Rowan is safe in the White House. So Jake pretty much decides to, he decides to resign as Millie's vice president. And then we get a quick scene with Abby and Quinn is paying Abby dust. Abby's trying to, be sincere and trying to let her know, what their agenda is, and she's like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, all right. Anything else? Just being very nonchalant with Abby, but Abby deserves it, because at the end of the day, because of your decisions, you have not only affected your personal life, but you also affected OPA, and you damn near got one of your people killed because you decided to make a deal with the devil. I'm saying, when you make a deal with the devil got a receipt for your ass. Next we see Rulon and David, Samantha, they done did the dirty up in his office, and she pretty much says that she's on her way. So after she leaves, he calls Jake and lets him know that she's on her way to the White House. Then, we have a scene where, Rulon is with Millie, and they go to approach Fitch, and Fitch like, look, cut the bullshit. I know who you are. I know you killed President Vargas, and quite frankly, I'm disgusted with you. And then she's like, okay, fine. So we will not pretend that you have any authority, because you really don't. And I'm going to let it be known that, look, we're about to take over this country, and we're going to run this country the way we want it run. And pretty much just let it be known that, look, Millie is the face, but we are the muscle. Next, we get a situation where Secret Service goes crazy. They bust into the office. They pretty much, tell the women to take off their shoes, and they're pretty much like rushing everybody to a secret location, and they separate Rulon and Millie. And she's like, no, I'm supposed to be with the president-elect. No, little do you know. So what ends up happening is that Rulon and Abby get sent into this, closed room, with only a television. And Millie gets sent into this conference room, and the whole gang is there. Fitch is there, along with Jake, Olivia, Marcus, David Rosen, Cyrus. They pretty much saying that, look, we're here to save you, and we're here to take you back. So it's cool that they're all going to come together to actually help Millie. And then we gets word that the reason why there was the security scare is that there's a drone surrounding the White House. But little do they know, this drone was a tactic that was actually set up by OPA, Huck and Quinn, to create a situation where they can get Millie away from Rulon. So pretty much, also we see that Quinn and Huck do have a conversation about Charlie and why he's MIA. And Next, we actually see that while they're in the room, they're all going back and forth. They're having this conversation, and Millie within there saying that pretty much why we why not I don't think we should rock the boat. I think we really don't have any options here. It's pretty much like defiance. And then all of a sudden Marcus is like, "What's defiance?" And then Cyrus is like, "Shut up!" And she's like, "Don't you tell me to shut up." And he was like, "Well, if you would have shut up a long time ago instead of trying to run for president, we wouldn't be in this situation." And then him and Millie go back and forth, and Millie's like, "Oh, so I was just supposed to just hand it over to you? You're the same selfish son of a bitch you've always been." And they just kind of go back and forth and taking jabs. And next thing you know, Rowan comes in, and he pretty much lets it be known that he was the one who shot President Vargas. And then Marcus was like, "Okay." I mean, but then again, it was really Rulin and Payas who killed President Vargas. They just made, Rowan the shoot. They just made Eli the shooter. And then we get a scene where, as far as Rowan now entering into the situation, he says, "I want to hear you ask me, why am I here? What do you need from me?" But Olivia says, "We really need your help." She's like, "No, I want him to ask me." And he's like, we need you. And he's like, "And go on." Rowan is a mess. So this pretty much says, "Okay, we really need your help because we can't do this without you. Will you help us?" And he says no. And it completely just pisses him off, like, and like next, Fitz starts flexing his muscle and shit, was saying, letting Rowan know that, look, you would be rotting in jail right now, but the only reason why you're here is because you can help us and because your daughter looked out for you. So show your damn daughter some respect. And Rowan is like, show my daughter some respect? Like, I'm supposed to show you respect? The guy who had the opportunity to get rid of the man who killed his son, but chose to pardon me so you can get another roll in the hay with Olivia. You couldn't just wait to get her back in your bed, could you? I'm just nothing but like cash to you. Just cash to throw at the foot of a stripper, just like your damn daddy. And Fitz was ready to fight Rowan after that. Because we all know he really does love Olivia, but their love is complicated. And it can get annoying at times. But that's their love. So pretty much he lets them know that, look, what do you guys know about mercy? It's like shame and anguish all rolled into one. And the problem is that all of you in here, regardless of your positions, you are just not trying to admit what you've known for a long time, that you've lost. You have completely lost this situation. Now, where can I get that drink? And then we see later on that Cyrus actually him and Rowan actually go down to the wine cellar where there's all of these wines. So they pretty much getting tipsy and, throwing them back. Next thing you know, while Rowan has his back turned, Cyrus has the wine key and, also the sharp part, and he was about to try to stab Rowan, but Rowan broke a bottle and said that, "You actually think that you could kill me? Like, I could end your ass right now. You want to die, Cyrus? Are you really trying? You really fucking with me right now?" And then he's saying that, "No, we need President Vargas. I need Vargas. The world needs him. He was better than all of us. He was the one. He was the one." And Rowan says, "Well, I'm terribly sorry about your loss." Because at the end of the day, Rowan didn't want to kill him. He was forced to kill him. So then we also have a scene where Fitz and David, because now David feels like crap because it's like every woman he gets doesn't work out. First it was Abby, then it was Elizabeth North, and now it's this Samantha bitch. And she's a fucking mess. But he says that for some odd reason I like these powerful women, but why can't I just get like a normal woman? Why can't I just get like a normal, a normal person that doesn't come with a lot of bullshit? But Fish says that, look, hey, we both have that in common. We love women of power. We love women who take charge and women who make things happen. And if she's good at what she does and also good to you, then it's worth it at the end of the day. So you just got to find a powerful woman who's worth it. So next we actually see that Jake and Olivia have a moment. Jake is definitely in his feelings because Olivia is now back with Fitch, and he's saying that the fact that you keep going back and forth, it's kind of like on the lines of insanity, because it's not going to work, but yet you keep putting yourself in that situation. So she pretty much read Jake for filth, because for one, Jake got a wife, but second, it's more of the fact that, look, right now, I don't need your childishness nor your jealousy getting in the way of this. We have to save Millie, so put whatever you feel aside and help me save Millie. So she pretty much nipped that in the bud, like Jake, how you can't really say shit anyway, because you married, and her and Fish just had that undying connection. Next, we have a scene with Millie and Marcus. Now, Millie is pretty much saying, did I do the right thing by fighting for president? Because maybe if I didn't do this, we wouldn't be in a situation right now. And he says, no, you did the right thing because you are a born leader. You're courageous and you're strong. But you can definitely tell Marcus still got a thing for Millie, and Millie still got a thing for Marcus. I mean, it ain't going to be a matter of time. It's going to be sooner than you think that they're going to probably be back up at it again, because Marcus done turned her out. And we know that from a few episodes back. But she pretty much says that, he pretty much tells her that, look, I need you to get it together and to be the leader that I know you are meant to be, because we need you to do your job. And we're here to protect you. So I thought that was a really cool scene. One, he letting her know that he still got love for her, but also letting her know that he has her back. Then after that, we see Rulin and Abby are watching television about the drone and all of that, and Rulin starts talking all her shit to Abby, saying that I will ruin you if I don't get out of this room and all this shit. And Abby let her know, like, look, bitch, you have ruined every aspect of my life, and quite frankly, I'm done with your threats. I'm done with your bullshit, because you have nothing left to take from me. You've taken everything. You're right, because of her actions, she no longer has her friends. Even though Olivia's forgiven her, ain't nobody really fucking with her. So then we get a scene where Millie finally comes back into the room, and she says, I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to name my own VP. And she offers it to Cyrus, but Cyrus says no. So pretty much they said that, okay, we need to get someone who is pure, who will represent the Republic well, and someone who really is about the people. We need someone like that. We need a white hat to be on Millie's side. Also, we also have a scene with Huck and Quinn. He finds Charlie's location. Quinn finds Charlie. He's eating this nasty-ass sandwich. They have a conversation, and he's letting her know that he feels that she's in love with Huck. And she says that, yes, I do have a deep love for Huck. I do care for him, but I'm in love with you. You're the man I want to marry, because without you, I don't know if I can live without you. I went panic once you went away. So I really do love you, and I really do want to be your wife. And they pretty much make up. So then we actually see that Millie names her vice president, and she names Luna Vargas, the widow of Frankie Vargas as her vice presidential as a vice president. And Ruin is pissed the fuck off. She's going off on the Secret Service like, I will end your ass if you don't let me out of this room right now. And next thing you know, we see Olivia comes in. And she says that, I want to let you know we've taken back Millie. I'm going to be her chief of staff, and you are now our prisoner. And just to let you know, sweetie, you don't take Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope takes you. And I was like, that's my bitch. I'm so happy Olivia finally got her life. So that's pretty much what happened in episode 12. Now, episode 13, The Box, you know, is a continuation, you know, because now they have Ruland in, you know, they pretty much have Ruland pretty much in prison, you know, pretty much under the White House, and now their option now is to try to find Paris. And then, the beginning of episode 13, The Box, we see that Vice President Vargas is actually doing an interview, and she said that her reason for running for vice president is for her to make things right with what happened with her husband. You know, this is my opportunity to set things right and to set the record straight. Next thing you know, we actually have a crazy situation with the NSA. There are 9 drones all across the country. And Olivia and Millie are together, and, you know, they're seeing this on the news. And then the next thing you know, Pius calls. He calls, and he lets her know that, I want my president-elect back, as well as my associate. And, you know, you guys gave me a great inspiration because of your drones, I now have 9 of them, and they're all across the country. But unlike your drone, my drones are explosive, and they will do serious damage. So, I suggest you give me back Millie, and you give me back my associate, meaning Ruin. And Olivia says, we don't negotiate with terrorists, and we're not giving you anything. And next thing you know, boom, one of them goes off, and it's the one in Dallas. And it's like 1 down, 8 to go. So now this son of a bitch has now got drones in major cities all across the country, and just at a moment, just a whole bunch of people are dying and are being injured. I mean, just goes to show you how much of a demonic bastard Paris really is. Next, we see that Fitz is talking to Jake, and he's letting them know that I need answers, and he also tells David to raid, you know, to pretty much raid Paris' office and get whatever you can find. Next, we have a scene with Olivia and Rowan. She's down in Rowan's little room, you know, his little cell. You know, pretty much he's down there drinking, and she doesn't want to drink. But he's like, look, just take one last drink because it's over. You know, I've made my peace, and all I want to do is run. And I want to take you with me. But she's like, I'm not running. I have not made things right. And I have not, you know, begin to set the record straight. You know, I'm trying to make it right this time, and I don't think I have. So I'm not running. I'm not going anywhere. But then he lets her know, you will die, and doesn't shriek from it. So pretty much she was like, well, Dad, you can enjoy your wine because I'm not leaving. Next, we have a scene with Olivia and Fitz. 35 people died in the explosion in Dallas. And then, like, Millie in the scene is pretty much saying that, look, they just want me. So why not just give them what they want? And then Fitz was like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. So it's like, no, we're not giving you back. You with us, and that's where you're gonna stay. Next, we have a scene with Jake and Ruland. So pretty much, So pretty much he asks questions like, he asks where's Paris, and he's like, and she's like, I don't know. Where could he be? And she's being real smug and real nasty and real sarcastic. And he lets her know that, look, I've checked everything about you. You really don't exist. You're kind of like me. You're pretty much a ghost that kind of hides in the shadows. She's like, yeah, we're twinsies. I'm like, this bitch needs to be slapped because she just does too fucking much. But then he lets her know that, look, if you help us find him, we'll pretty much help you. We'll help you to get we'll help you to find the protective custody. We'll put you under like protective custody. We'll try to give you a new identity, get you off into an island or somewhere where he can't find you. And she says that I'm not going to do that because, for one, I'm very valuable to my employer and he can track me anywhere. So no matter what you try to do, if I were to take your deal, he will find me in a heartbeat. And if he were to put me on some island, he'll probably just blow up the island. And he said, and then Jake looked at her and said, that's exactly what I wanted you to say. Next thing you know, he pins her head down, gets a knife, and starts cutting up her damn neck and pulls out a damn chip. And he's like, I'm sending the Band-Aid, bitch. I was like, yes, Jake, fuck her up. So, because she ran her mouth, she let it be known that, yeah, he got a chip device on me, so he knows where I am at all times. So Jake gives the chip to Olivia, and so Jake and Olivia give the chip to Huck to see if they can track Paris. And then we also have a scene, and pretty much what ends up happening was that they weren't able to track it, and as a matter of fact, it did alert Paris that someone had the chip. So what he does is that he calls and he lets her know that, look, so pretty much Paris calls Olivia again and lets her know, like, look, I'm losing patience. My president-elect and my associate, and I want it now. And she says that, and she pretty much told him that, and then he brings up, when was the last time you went to the city of brotherly love? So the next drone to go off is the one in Philadelphia. And again, Olivia backs down, and the drone in Philadelphia explodes, killing more people. Then we have a scene with Abby and Fitz. Well, I'm sorry, not Abby and Fitz, but Abby and Cyrus first. Fitz comes in later. Well, we have a scene with Abby and Cyrus. Cyrus is like, "What the hell are you doing? Why aren't you out here? Running the show with everybody else? You're the chief of staff. Why aren't you with the president?" And then she says, "Well, he has me calling all these mayors, and that she's being kept out of the loop of everything." Yeah, because you portrayed Olivia, and because you did that, Fitz, even though Fitz has forgiven you, he ain't really fucking with her either. So pretty much, then when Fitz comes in, he pretty much asks her, has she reached out to FEMA or whatever, and she was like, well, I was under the impression that since you were working with the NSA, you guys already did that. So I assumed it was already done. He was like, you assume? Well, she's like, well, no one's telling me anything, and you're keeping me out of the loop. And then we see Cyrus steps in and was like, so pretty much Cyrus steps in and pretty much, takes initiative. So now he's working with Cyrus again and leaves Abby behind. And later on, we see that Abby starts feeling some kind of way because now he's working with Cyrus because Cyrus is giving him ideas. Cyrus is, thinking in the situation. Like as far as ruling, they're saying that, look, we're trying to get payers, but the only way we're going to get payers is through ruling. And that's what set Cyrus up with Fitz, because he had mentioned, well, the way to get to him is to get to her. And he's like, okay, we're gonna discuss this. And then Cyrus asks, does she have any access to television or anything like that? And they said no. So I'm like, okay, well, you can pretty much create anything you want. You know, she doesn't know what's really going on. We can lie straight to her face and say that we got pairs, and see what she does then, and see if she gives up anything as to where to find him and, you know, who's working with him and everything that we need to know. So we also see that Marcus is being hounded by the press, and he's looking at Millie because pretty much he really does know what's going on, but he can't tell the media. So now we have a scene with Fitz and Olivia. 58 more people are dead, and pretty much you know, he gets a call from David where he says that, you know, he's pretty much gotten all that he can from Pais's office, but there's nothing on him, like, directly. So next they have a scene where they go to Eli and to see if he can help them save the nation. But Rowan is not here for it. He's like, I want to run, and that's all that's on my mind right now. And he was saying that, you know, and I said, and I even offered my daughter to run with me, and she's like, I'm staying. And he's like, yes, because, and then Fish was like, yes, because she's a patriot. And he's saying, you saying I'm not? And he's like, if you were a patriot, you wouldn't be trying to run in the time of danger. You stand and try to fight this. And if anything, it's making me think that you're with them. And he said that, first of all, what is it? You want me to wipe your nose and wipe your bottom and try to clean up everything for you so you can go out there looking like the great leader of the free world? And it gets to the point where Fitz literally jacks up Rowan, and Rowan says, I will break both of your fucking hands if you don't get your hands off me. So Olivia's like, Fitz, get off him. She know her father will fuck him up. So she's like, Fitz. And he's saying that, look, this is supposed to be, I mean, I've seen you do so much killing for the Republic, and then now you're just going to let her die? You're just going to let the Republic just go into the crapper? Are you serious? And Rowan goes off and says, there is no Republic. It's every man for himself. Get it through your fucking head. They win, you lose. And then Fish is just so pissed off he ends up walking out. And then Olivia asks him, what did they do to you? And he lets her know, leave. So that was actually a pretty good scene because Olivia spotted it. She knows her father. And she knows her father don't take shit from nobody, and her father don't lie down for no one. So the fact that he's trying to run and trying to, you know, get away, she knows that they did something to him, and later on she finds out what it is. Because in the next scene, we see Olivia runs into David Rosen. He pretty much gives her this file where it says that her father has been receiving, you know, boxes like every week, and there was a total of 23 boxes that he got from Pais's office. So now we also have a scene where Jake finally goes to Rulin, and he lies and says that we have Pais, and he's willing to talk, so we're going to cut him a deal. But then she's like, so why are you telling me? What's my deal? She says, we ain't got to do nothing with you because, first of all, you don't mean nothing to us, and I don't fucking like you. But I just want to come here personally to let you know to your face that you're useless and you are completely screwed. So when he's about to leave, she changes her tune. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll tell you what. If you give me his deal, I'll tell you everything. I'll let you know all the accounts, you know, the agents. I'll let you know everything you need to know if you give me the deal that you promised him. So I was like, you got her ass. So next we actually see that, you know, because Olivia got, you know that that invoice of all the boxes that were sent, but she didn't know what was in the boxes. So she actually has Huck to run back the footage of Eli's office, and we see that every time he opens the box, he reacts every single time. And it's like he just gets shook or he gets broken every time he opens a box. And we actually see that in one of the videos, he knocks the box over, and inside the box is a brick, and it's 11 pounds. Every single time, it's 11 pounds. It's an 11-pound brick that's being sent to him. So now they're questioning, what does this all mean? So Jake pretty much tells David that, look, we're gonna give Rulin an immunity deal, but she wants it to be presented by you. So I want you to give her the deal. So next we actually see that we pretty much see that David Rosen and Samantha, aka Rulin, are pretty much having a moment where he presents her the immunity deal, and then she lets him know that her real name is Grace. It's not Samantha. And then this dumbass bitch had the nerve to ask, "Can we start over?" And he's like, "What?" She's like, "I gave you my real name. It's obviously we have a connection. Can we start over now?" And he says that I will never want to start over anything with you. Like, you murdered my friend Liz. And he's like, "I hate you." And she's like, "You hate me?" And he's like, "Yes, I hate you." Next thing you know, she rips up the deal and she says, "First of all, you really don't got past. There really is no deal. And how I know is that you were twitching. And you twitch every time you lie. Now, what you said about hating me, that was true. And it's obvious that you're mad because I killed that pathetic little..." And he literally punches the dog shit out of Ruin's face. I mean, he just goes boom. And then all of a sudden, she kind of like gets herself back together because he knocked the shit out of her. And I was so here for it because Ruin is such a messy, sarcastic, messy, trifling bitch. I was happy that David punched her ass. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "You better hope that I don't get out of here." And he's like, "I don't have to hope anything, bitch, because you never will. Am I twitching now?" I was like, "Okay, David, David put the script on our ass," and I was happy he did that shit. Because normally he's weak when it comes to women, but in this case, he took his power back. So pretty much, Olivia shares this information with Fitz about the boxes and the bricks, and he pretty much, she advises Fitz that, talk to him again. So next we had this scene with Fitz and Rowan. He mentions to him the bricks, 11 pounds every time, and pretty much, he tries to level with Rowan, and he lets him know that I know about the bricks and the boxes and all of that. And eventually, Rowan kind of, like, at first he was giving him the blues, like telling him that, look, he's like, because like Fish is like, I understand what you're going through. I know what it feels like to feel powerless and to have people around you making you feel like you're in power, but you really don't have power. But then he goes in, he's like, first of all, man, you never wanted power. You don't even know what real power is. So he lets him know that in the 70s, he was the man. He was a high government official, and a lot of these crackers didn't want me to have it, but regardless of what they did, I always rose to the top. I was winning until now, because now I'm in a situation where the one thing that I treasure could be taken away from me. And he lets him know the reason for the bricks, it was always between 9 and 11 pounds. 9 and 11 pounds is also the same amount, is the same, weight for a human head. And that human head is Olivia. So here it is. I was able to look out for myself, but I'm not able to even protect my own daughter. And he kind of gives him that enlightenment that she's your republic. She's your legacy. And I think that's what got Rowan, going. I mean, even though he dismissed and said, well, thank you for the drink, Mr. President, I'm good. But I think that's what really got to him, because he's letting them know that, yeah, the republic is your daughter. She represents what the republic is, as well as your legacy of all the great things you've accomplished. Next, we see. Next, we actually see that Cyrus and Fitz are talking in regards to the drones. And first, they were like, we can nuke the drones, but then they said that if we try to nuke them, it will create a worse explosion than the drone itself, so we can't do that. And then also, we get another scene with Fitz and Olivia where they're talking about the casualties or whatever, and we find out that 63 people have died, 19 of them were children, and then they're kind of discussing whether they're going to give him Millie, because if they give up Millie, maybe all this will stop. But he's like, no, I can't, because she's the mother of my children. And that's when Olivia says, well, that's why you don't do it. That's exactly why we're not giving up. And then next thing you know, we see that Rowan walks in, and he wants to talk to Fitz alone. And he says that, look, I'm ready to do what it takes. I'm ready to do what I got to do. Next, we see that Olivia takes Rowan to the room where Ruland is being kept. Once he gets in the room, he takes the gun from the Secret Service agent. Pretty much ends up shooting the agent in the leg and asks for the code to the tunnel. He pretty much sets Ruland free, and then he pretty much tells Olivia, "I told you I was running." So I'm thinking, like, dude, I was thinking, after all that shit you talked, you still gonna do this shit? And then she's panicking. She's like, Dad. So he pretty much, set Ruland free, and they both escaped together. Then we also had a quick scene with Abby and Cyrus, where she's in her feelings, because she's like, well, after all, it's like you're trying to take my job and all this. He's like, no, the hell I'm not. We're getting things done while you're sitting back. Ain't nobody punishing you. You're punishing yourself. And if you really want it, stop sitting around trying to ask for shit. Make it happen. You don't ask for power. You take power. So that's what you need to do. Get off your ass and take your power back. And that was the end of that. And then also we have a scene with Olivia and Millie is really seriously thinking about, like, look, let's just give up and it sucks that I'm going to have to work with these crazy fucking people, but hey, I don't want any more people to die and all of that. And Olivia said, oh, hell no. You will not do that. You are the first female president in history. And I'll be damned you're going to be controlled or marginalized or just be a figurehead to some male chauvinistic racist pig like fucking Paige. And she says, we're gonna win this. Trust. And I was like, okay, Olivia, I'm feeling you. Yeah, it was all good. So we see that Rowan and Ruland and Paige meet at his office, and he lets me know that, look, I want to be free. I don't want no one following me anymore. I want, you know, a ticket to Zanzibar. I want to get away, and I want to be emancipated. I've done everything you asked for me to do, so let me go. And Paige was like, okay, that's fine. Rulon, go get this stuff together. And he says, congratulations, Eli. You've just been emancipated. I'm like, you racist piece of shit. But it gets better, because next thing you know, we see that Paige was still going to continue to drop those drones. Because then he's like, oh, so then we see him, he's at some control room, and he's like, so what's next? Miami? And then we see 2 people get shot, and it's Jake that killed them. And then he says that, and then pretty much Jake, pretty much put the gun at Paige and lets him know, like, this has now come to an end, and shoots the shit out of his ass. And I'm like, yes, finally Paige is dead. So then it plays back to the conversation he had with the conversation between Rowan and Fitch. And what really went down was that he said that, look, I'm going to do what I have to do to get her to trust me, because if I can gain her trust, that is going to lead me to Paige. And that's exactly what he did. And as soon as Paige left, he called Jake and let Jake know he just left. And they found out where he was. Jake killed Paige. And then all of a sudden, Rulon comes back with all the stuff. She's like, oh, yes, here you go. And then she's like, oh, what's in the box? She's like, oh, it's a tooth that I ordered for this dinosaur. Won't you take a look at it? Take a good look. Next thing you know, she takes a look, and next thing you know, he comes up with a blade and jabs it in her ass. And I'm like, yes! Finally, somebody killed that bitch. Because she was doing so much shit. She was a big shit talker. She was messy. She was bitchy. She was just a nasty individual. So, finally, he pretty much stabbed her ass up and puts her head in the box. And I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. And it's like everything is now back, and Rowan is now free, and now he has slain his enemies. So that's how it ended. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But that's my review, guys. So subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and I will be back with you guys for the next episode of Scandal. So until then, take care.